space that works for me. Hey. What's up, everybody? It is Own the Chaos. We are live. It is Thursday, October 15th, and the stock market is about as decisive as your girl finding a place to eat. You can't pick a goddamn direction. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Fat Man Zoom? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I will say, in the words of Conor McGregor, today I was a fucking trader. I killed it today.
Yeah, it has been absolutely a killer of a day. For those of you who are in the Chaos Crew, hope you guys have been crushing it too. We have been putting out some bangers in the watch list. And I mean,
we have.
It has just been, we have just been on fire. The stock market can't pick a good direction, but we can sure pick them this week. I mean, I'm just amazed about how we've been crushing it, man.
We already got over 100 people in the house. I'm green today, people. How you doing? Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you got on the watch list. If you hit any of the stocks up, Zoom, baby. Well, we got Jorge in the house. Familia, yes. Vinay, Landon, McTag, what's up? Diane, Tan179. I feel like I haven't seen Tan in a while. But everybody, what's going on? Jason Padilla.
Yeah, I mean, Zoom, and let's just talk about Zoom for a second. I mean, what the hell, man? It's just been... I don't even know what to say. I mean, Thursdays are usually a pretty good day for Zoom historically, but this is just absolutely insane. We talked about this. We talked about Zoomtopia and just how that might impact the stock, but I just did not expect that kind of move. But I'm definitely happy about it, but it was just completely blown away.
Well, I think it was, and it's on the slate today. So we're going to talk about Zoomtopia, but I think it's one of those situations where it was kind of a perfect storm. You called it out on the mentorship this morning, where it's like the Thursday move. They released jobs, worse than expected, nearly 900K, and the jobless report. And then on top of that, bearish news on, vaccine stimulus, like the stimulus again, it's like a back and forth. And so I think that worked out for Zoom because Zoom benefits, the play at home stocks benefit when there's negative news on the stimulus, and Thursdays are Zoom's days, so it worked out.
It's so weird, when you follow these patterns, and that's what I was saying this morning. And for those of you in the Chaos Crew, I said the same thing. It's like you're following these patterns, and you just keep following them until the wheels fall off. Essentially, you just keep going back to the well until it dries up. And right now, it is still given, and Zoom is just. Oh my God, it's just not disappointing. We'll get into that a little bit more, but yeah, stock market right now, Dow Jones is down just slightly. Everything's down just slightly. Keeps going back and forth. Right now, the markets look like they're starting to roar back here a little bit towards the end of the day, but I mean, it just cannot pick a direction, and there's just so much going on. Supreme Court justices, stimulus, the election, Biden's breaking the law, Trump's breaking the law. And the market just goes all over the place. It is a wild time. I mean, we said this, right? We said the market was going to be super volatile, and this was going to happen. And it's just crazy to actually see it happening before your eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And to give everybody a taste, so today, the topics on the slate: FSLY, tanking. You called that.
Yep.
We're talking about the banks. The bank earnings released. Not all banks are created equal, my people. EVs, the EVs crushing it. I know everybody wants to go know about NEO. We'll talk about NEO. We'll talk about a couple other EVs. We'll talk about Zoomtopia, not Zootopia. You can tell I have a daughter. Zoomtopia, and then we'll get into the crew questions. So, with that being said, Brad, you want to take it away?
Yeah, man. So FSLY, I tried to warn you guys. If you're a stockholder in FSLY right now, I don't know what else to tell you. I've been saying that this thing was a sell for the last 3-4 trading days. I was like, please, if you haven't taken anything off the table, if you haven't sold a dime of this, sell something. And I say this all the time. It's like you don't make money in the stock market unless you finally sell something. And if you didn't heed the warning on FSLY, then I don't know what else to say. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this chart here. So what happened, first of all? The biggest thing that happened here was that FSLY and TikTok, it came out that the third quarter might not be all that great because the revenue they were getting from TikTok isn't as great as expected. And so they had this huge drop off. One of the biggest parts of the moves here was because of TikTok. TikTok was reportedly one of the largest or the largest source of revenue for FSLY. And if it's not looking good for them, then the value of the stock comes down. And so we saw this happen. So again, when we're talking about perfect storms, this is another one of those things where Fastly just went straight up, and it's historically done this, right? If you look at the daily chart, it goes straight up and then has a major drop off, straight up, another major drop off, and it just repeats itself. And so when this time around, it went absolutely berserk from $75 all the way up to $136.50 a share within a matter of a week and a half. I was like, this is insanity. I love Fastly as a stock. But people, the hype machine was too much for it, and it finally all it took was one piece of news, and this is actually a pretty large piece of news to actually bring it all the way down. And so, some of you might be asking yourself, is it worth buying the dip on right now? I mean, we look at this on the 30-minute chart just to see today's activity, and it has bounced a little from $85. So if you're able to flip this from there, great. But for me, I want to see some more substantial buying before I actually get into this. Look at this. I mean, we talk about boner candles. This is the exact opposite of this. Somebody must have been thinking about dead puppy dogs with their grandma or something. But this was not looking good for Fastly. So for me, I'm not ready to buy this yet. I still love Fastly. I still think they have a bright future ahead of them. But I still think that there's room for this to come down. And we look at the daily chart and we're seeing that, there's a pretty substantial support down at $70, maybe around $75. So I still think that there's room for this to come down. If not, we'll just have to see buying return in order to actually see that this might be worth the investment. But with earnings coming up on this not too far from now, it may end up being something we just stay away from until, it actually starts making a really decent turnaround. The fact of the matter is that you don't just buy something because it is sold off or it is downed. People have this misconception that's like, oh, well, it must have sold off this much. It can't go much lower than this. Well, no, that's absolutely the wrong way of thinking. You think about Fastly coming from $30-some a share just 6 months ago. There's plenty of room for this to go down if it wants to. So just be careful with that. Don't try to time the absolute bottom of it, and you'll come out better for it in the end. Don't try to catch a falling knife. Otherwise, you could end up bleeding.
We should ask the crew we have our boner candles. We need a name for that flaccid candle, whatever it is. So we'll get back to that. Yeah, man, a couple points. And let me ask you this question before I get into my thoughts. Yes, there's that group that's, hey, when do I get in? But what do you say to people that are in and they're stuck holding the bag? Should they cut their losses and maybe try to get a better entry? Should they try to dollar cost average? Should they be out altogether? How do I play it if I'm in it?
That's a great question. And really, it just comes down to your willingness to either hold on to this and see where it goes. What's your risk tolerance look like? How long do you have to wait on Fastly? And if you ask yourself, I'm not comfortable with looking at this level of, depending on how red you are, I'm not comfortable looking at, this kind of loss, and I really just need to get rid of it, and I can use this money to make more money elsewhere. Or, I think Fastly does have a great future, and I've repeatedly said that I like Fastly a lot. It was just that it was just way too high, and it went way too high, way too fast. I think $150 a share on Fastly is certainly achievable. I don't know if that happens this year. We'll see. And we're going to get into that a little bit. And we can get into it right now. We're just talking about some of the epiphanies that the market's been having a little bit as it relates to the election. And we've talked about how, elections can impact the stock market on the short term. And we talked about how, a Joe Biden presidency may impact the stock market negatively because of the tax policy and that sort of thing. But what we didn't actually think about, and Jim Cramer brought this up last night, was the relationship that the Biden and Obama administration had with China, and that it was actually very positive. So with Fastly having, the largest amount of revenue coming from TikTok, which is a Chinese company, and a Biden administration gets in, this could actually blow up. So maybe it does blow up. So you just have to ask yourself, is this something that I'm worth waiting on? Is the risk versus reward worth it to me, or isn't it? And kind of make that decision for yourself.
Corey called it a naked grandma candle.
Yeah, naked. That's what I was saying, like dead puppies or some shit.
All right, so here's what I have to say about it. I'll kind of keep it short and sweet. I don't want to belabor this, but let's just put this all in perspective. We know that the issue here is they lowered their guidance, lowered expectations, so it went from 75 billion to 71 billion or 70 billion.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world. Also, TikTok is they're not generating as much revenue from them, which accounts, it's just under 10 billion. I believe it's $9 billion, which is a lot.
That's
It's 12% of their revenue. So here's what we need to consider. First, let's put ourselves in the minds of the leadership, the CEO and the C-levels.
Yep.
First thing I'm saying is, listen, we need to minimize our exposure. So earnings are coming out the 28th. There's not much we can do between now and then other than talk about future guidance. But one of the things they're going to have to do is they can't have one client account for over 10% of their revenue share. So you bet your ass they're going to be looking for more clients, and that's going to be a major focus.
Yep.
So we're not reliant on TikTok. But then the other thing is you hope that you find ways to increase that revenue. But I feel like they kind of did this I mean, I know it's a huge blow, but going into earnings again on the 28th, the bar is set really low. So I agree. I think it's more likely that this gets to 70 than it gets to 100.
Yeah.
With it being at $90 a share. But if it does get around 70, I will be looking at it. However, it's going to need a catalyst, whether that's increased guidance or positive news. I don't know if we're going to get any of that, but if you do want to get into this, like we always say, scale into this bad boy because it can go further down. And it's up 500% year to date, and it's only down 25% today.
Right.
It seems like a lot, but it's up 500% year to date, people. So with that being said, Brad, how many people we got in the house?
We got 222 people hanging out with us right now. 28 likes. That is some lame shit right there. Can we get the thumbs up, please? Thanks for the support, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Actually, we really appreciate you. We always love giving you a hard time.
So the next topic we have, I titled it, "It's Not All Banks Are Created Equal."
Well, can we just pause for a second and recognize the audio quality on your side has improved dramatically?
I have, well, you see my setting, right?
Yeah.
Everything, my settings gotten better. I got Iron Man, throwback Iron Man, shout out. I got some greenery, better oxygen in this room.
Yeah.
So I got a studio audience. Listen, I'm in North Carolina. We got anybody here from North Carolina? I'm actually in Raleigh, visiting my boy. So if anybody, well, we'll get into the end. But anyways, I'm visiting my boy, and everything's better.
Yeah, we haven't done a roll call in a while. We should do that today eventually.
Oh yeah, where you from, people? Let's see where you're from. All right, so not all banks are created equal. So earnings season kicked off this week. The banks reported earnings. Let me give you the snapshot. I'm going to stick with my Conor McGregor. Fucking Morgan Stanley crushed it this morning.
Yeah. Which was Stockwatch Sunday, which is on Stockwatch Sunday. We called that out.
Yeah, how did we do?
We predicted a beat. I don't remember how much, but we predicted a beat.
I will tell you because I have it right here.
We were conservative on the beat, but
we predicted a beat, and I said $1.30. I think you said a little bit more, but they beat, I mean, revenue was over $1 billion beyond what their expectation was. So they crushed it. Goldman Sachs crushed it, but Wells Fargo didn't do well. Bank of America didn't do well.
Yep.
They missed earnings, but we knew this.
Yeah. We expect it's working out exactly how we expected it to.
And so it all boils down to exposure, where they derive their revenue, where they generate revenue from. Right. And Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, they are not traditional bank accounts like where they're getting it from interest accounts or loans or whatever. Like a lot of their exposure is in trading, wealth management. And as these rates go lower, people are getting more money, investing more money. They're freeing up the money. And with the stimulus, like everybody's been trading. So that's benefited these firms. And as the market is going to continue to do better, they're not slowing down. So I'm actually surprised that Goldman Sachs hadn't made the move. Morgan Stanley has done well so far today on a bearish day, but you're in, the public accounts in Goldman Sachs. Yep. I'm in Goldman Sachs and I'm waiting. I think this is 250 is the number. It's at about, what is it, about 209?
208 right now. Yeah. It's more like Goldman Stacks. That's what it should be called.
Money stacks, baby.
So just checking in with you guys. That's some really good points. Right before I check in with you guys on just the banks in general, but like it is. When we say we crushed it this week, we absolutely crushed it this week. Everything that we said what happened did happen, and it doesn't happen all the time because we kind of really suck at this, to be honest with you. But we did really well this week. So let me check in with some of you guys. We got a lot of Brits in here, by the way. A lot of Brits in here. Yeah.
New York City.
Yeah. London. I saw somebody from Wales.
Snookeroo, you're from Wilmington? Nice. You're not too far.
There you go. Orange County. We got somebody from Singapore, too. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got Singapore. We got South Africa. I don't know if they're in here now, but
that's pretty awesome. Detroit playa. All right, guys. So the viewers are coming in. 239 folks hanging out. Buffalo, New York, Detroit. That's awesome. So moving on to the next order of business here is the EV craze. And I got to tell you where Brad was wrong. And he was wrong on NIO briefly. I'm going to say briefly. I'm still not conceding all of the way. It is up to $28 a share. And if you guys were in NIO and you've been in it since the teens and you've been like going crazy on this thing, that's great. I'm genuinely happy for you. If you made money off of NIO, that's awesome. This was one that I said that NIO will probably have. This is where the cheesecloth condom jokes came from, was NIO, because I anticipate the quality of the vehicles that come out about as reliable as a cheesecloth condom. So, but
is there such thing as a cheesecloth condom for real?
No.
Oh, okay. I mean, there's goat skin condom, right? Like lambskin condom.
Yeah, but they actually prevent you from, because what would be the point? You might as well just throw it all in there because you're going to get pregnant either way.
Just to say, we'll get into that some other time.
Jesus Christ. So anyways, getting with NIO, I still stand behind this, by the way. I still think the quality of this, of these vehicles are going to be absolute trash, but you can't knock the fact that this thing has gone pretty high. I think it's, it's obviously been a huge winner for a lot of you. And again, congrats to those of you who stood fast and hung in here. But there is going to be a rug that gets pulled at some point. And the reason being is because they are diluting. And if you just look at the way that this stock has traded over the last several weeks on this run up over the last quarter or so, for about 2-3 weeks straight, it was the most traded stock in the stock market by share volume. A ton of share volume on this thing, and it barely moved. When you see a lot of this sideways action, there was so much money going in and out of this thing, it was insane. And when you don't see that kind of movement, but you see a lot of shares like that going in and out, it usually indicates that there is a fair amount of dilution going on. Now, we can look at their financials to a certain extent, but again, also keep in mind that they are unaudited financials. So there's definitely some red flags there. And yeah, I mean, I just think that there's going to be a rug that gets pulled out of NIO at some point. And here's the other thing. Tesla's becoming very competitive with them. And I think that with them lowering the price of the Model 3 over in China, that they're going to just go ahead and work their way into the market share. And it'll be interesting to see how the Chinese actually, accept NIO versus Tesla. And for me, I think that, you look at a lot of the American products that are over there. The Chinese love American products. Buick was the number one. I think it still is the number one selling car brand in China is Buick, of all things. So, it seems to me that Tesla is very widely accepted and loved over there as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this fares against NIO and maybe some of the other car companies over there. But I still just don't trust it as far as I can throw it, and I can't pick up a car. So there you have it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You have so many people in China. There's room for everybody. And I was talking to you earlier offline, like, we have people here who are like American cars, like doesn't matter if they're better, but like, I want to buy like made America, American cars. What if there's people in China that are like NIO, Chinese cars? I'm buying China cars. So, I need what Fat Man got. Yeah. So I hear you. But like you said, take profits, be smart with this. If you want to leave a little bit in there to see if it runs, see if it runs. But I agree with you. At the end of the day, Tesla wins. No matter how you look at it, Tesla wins. And I think it's just the point of like, people don't want to spend $500 for a stock or $450 for a Tesla. And they're like, oh, I see NIO for $25. Doesn't matter if it's a better company or not, or not as good of a company. Like, I can get it for $25. Let me get it.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
So then moving on, something that I'm excited about, Zoom. Everybody, I think, Zoom's in my name, Fat Man Zoom. No, I not have Zoom. So right. You already know I have Zoom, and a lot of people in our crew have Zoom. I mean, we've been talking about Zoom in the watch list. This thing, you were talking about patterns this morning. This thing follows the pattern, and it's so predictable. It touched 500. I think it got right below 500.
Yep.
We knew that was a tough resistance. Once it got through the resistance, and it was off. And so I think that 500 has became a nice little support for it.
Yep.
If it ever goes below 500 again, I'm all in.
Oh yeah.
So anyways, 100%. It did it. I mean, these stocks follow patterns, and this one did exactly what we thought. But let's talk a little bit about Zoomtopia. So Zoom had their investor day, their virtual conference, which was the past 2 days, and it ended. And what I told you guys, what you wanted to look for is look for the phone, which is a new revenue stream, and look for rooms, which is like the webinar feature. And they've been able to monetize it. So they announced both of those things. They additionally announced a focus on SMS, so text servicing. And so that was exciting for people. I don't know too much about it, but I think the idea is like notifications, even to like promote things. I think when you're doing the webinars, those opportunities. So this is all great. And you're integrating, Zoom, you think about your computer. Now we're bringing the phone into play, your physical phone, and through the phone feature. This is awesome. Zoom is doing exactly what it needs to do. And it's moving beyond what it just has as far as the meeting services, the video conferencing. So it was a great conference. And here's my prediction. So the CEO of NVIDIA had Jensen Huang, I guess his name. He was a keynote. And so I put on my tinfoil hat. I think they're in cahoots, and we hear some partnership with NVIDIA in the future. I'm telling you, NVIDIA, because we love NVIDIA.
Yeah.
NVIDIA, we got something going on with NVIDIA and Zoom. Why else would you have NVIDIA as a keynote speaker? I think they have a good relationship. Something's going down. I'm telling you, people.
Yeah, it might happen. We'll see. There's something to be said for that. I mean, at least they're definitely in a network with each other. So that's it's definitely interesting. And I mean, the thing about Zoom is something that we always talk about. And I've actually been talking about this since it was below $100 a share, and everybody shat on me because I said this thing is going the hell off when COVID happened, because everybody wanted to say, well, there's so many other video conferencing. It's been around forever. There's Microsoft Teams, there's Facebook, there's, Cisco, there's so many other ones. And we just talked about how Adobe had one. We didn't know until recently, just how actually prevalent it was. But the one thing about that Zoom does and does really well, and this was my argument the whole entire time, was the ease of use. And it's just a better quality platform. Like, it just does so many things for so many different people, whether you're talking to your grandma, or you're video conferencing with your grandma, or you're video conferencing with your multi-million-dollar business. Zoom does it all. Or you're going to school. It doesn't matter. We've seen it all over the place. The NFL used to use it before Microsoft said, hey, we're not dealing with that. But, it's just been amazing that this stock just continues to roll. And I equated it to Netflix, and that there are several other streaming services that are out there that are in the market space, but Netflix is still king. And I think that is exactly the type of comparison that you can draw with Zoom, that there's going to be video conferencing platforms out there, in the market space, but Zoom is going to forever be king, in my opinion, unless they somehow figure out a way to screw this up. But I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't see it. And we talked about this. I mean, Zoom is is like Tesla. There's like such a large lead. And so what they're able to do is, while everybody's trying to catch up to their functionality of video conferencing, they're able to widen their lead, get into phones, get into SMS, build these features. And one of the other things they announced was apps connectivity. So native apps in Zoom that will connect. So like Asana, we use Asana or whatever, like they connect into your Zoom. So Zoom's now becoming more powerful, and you'll see that happen over time.
Yeah.
And then it's got to a point where, like, let's say Microsoft Teams is like, oh man, we caught up. Well, then they look up and Zoom's doing some crazy shit, and they're like, we got to keep catching up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% true, and that's the problem that a lot of the major car manufacturers are having right now, trying to catch up with Tesla. It's just going to be a constant rat race that I don't know if they'll ever catch up to. But
we got some new members, huh?
Yeah, we got a couple new members here. Let me scroll back up through here. We got Nick Walker and Dustin. Welcome to the Chaos Crew, guys. If you guys are not familiar with the Chaos Crew and what it is that we do every day with our folks in that community, every single day we provide a watch list for them. We also give them access to the public portfolio. I give them an update on the public portfolios provided through Webull on the changes that we made, why we made them, all that good stuff. If you want to be a part of that, click the join button next to subscribe, or the link is in the description as well. We'd love to have you a part of the Chaos Crew. We also do private streams and that sort of thing, and just answer any questions that you guys might have. Right now, the Chaos Crew portfolio has gained 20% compared to the S&P 500's 5%, which has been pretty freaking awesome over the last month. And so if you guys are struggling, feeling like you're not really getting it and want some extra help, it's $5 a month, and it helps support the channel. We have over 850 Chaos Crew members in as of today. It's been a pretty awesome ride. I really didn't realize just how this was going to grow, my man, but it's been pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And real quick, speaking of the Chaos Crew, so Nino said, I thought Zoom opened at 536. Nah. Well, so pre-market, Zoom was below 500.
Yeah.
But what did Zoom open at?
Zoom opened
at 503.
Yeah. And then it just took the hell off.
Yeah, it went off. I did want to say one side thing real quick. What up, Don? Zoom has earnings in December 4th, I believe.
Yep.
I'm holding on to at least a little bit of this throughout. We talked about, I do scale in. So I have like sort of third system that I use.
Yep.
So I'll always have at least a third of whatever my full position size is. I will be holding on to some of it, but like just hold on to this till earnings and just enjoy the ride. But one thing real quick, I don't know if Dan Benner, D Benner's in the house. He just joined level 1. He had actually emailed us a question. So if you guys, we're not able to get to all of these questions, but we have stockwatchsunday.com. If you go to stockwatchsunday.com, on the top, it's ask a question. It gets directly emailed to me, and I get with Brad, and we answer those until we can't anymore. So we still have the bandwidth to keep answering those. But he just joined, asked, wondering how to get access to the daily watch list. He didn't see it this morning. So the daily watch list is on the community tab. Yep. So make sure you set your notifications. But if you go to the Own the Chaos channel, the community tab, every morning around 8:30 a.m., Brad will post the 5 stocks in the watch list. And if you want to join the Chaos Crew, click join next to the subscribe button. Just an easy $5 a month. Yep. Ain't that right, Brad?
Yes, sir. And yeah, just so you know, there is a community tab for public viewers, but it's only going to be accessible for the Chaos Crew as far as that particular post goes. We got 250 folks in here, 99 likes. Can we get that up to maybe 150? That would be awesome. If you guys are getting some value out of this, you're enjoying the show so far, give us a thumbs up. Certainly appreciate it. The market looks like it's trying to come back. We'll figure out if it's actually made a decision on the direction it wants to go. But Penn National right now is looking mighty fine. I was just checking that out. Apple's also making some pretty nice moves. And I actually just bought into Microsoft today, and that is already paying off. So, it's feeling pretty good, man.
Yeah, you were going on a spending spree, huh?
When everything kind of dipped down, I was like, whatever, I'm throwing money at everything.
Yeah, all right. So there's new people in here, so I think it's important to talk about days like these. I know a lot of people are asking, about the dip for a specific stock. You shouldn't be alarmed if everything's red in the market. Yeah. If everything's red in the market, then
It's time to
we're
go
all coming down
shopping.
together. I think those are opportunities for you to say, what are my favorite stocks? What are the stocks I really believe in? And these are buying opportunities. We call it the red zone. I think new investors, the big mistake they have is like when it's a red day, they freak out and they sell. Well, when it's a red day, we call it the red zone. Like let's punch it in. Like use those as opportunities to get things on discount. Can they go down further? Sure. But they sell on red days and they buy on green days, and that's how you get holding the bag. So I know you did a lot of buying today. I did a lot of adding on to positions.
Yep.
I did jump back into BC. BC was a good mover. It was down as much as 5%. It was right around that $100 mark, dip below $100. But I got in at 99.75, and I'm back in this puppy. I'm up 4% already.
There
So
we go.
we're looking good.
There we go. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. You ready to get these questions?
Let's do it.
All right. What's up, Mike Hudson in the house?
Mike.
It is a rough day. Rough day for stonks. All right. A lot of people talking about Fastly. Bought the Fastly dip. Hung in, good job.
Just saying, be careful because it's already gone down since we started this stream. So
Ema said rockets down ever since I got back in, taking you all down with me. Well, I'm going down with you too.
I actually bought more of that today. I was part of my retail therapy today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bought more rocket. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about rocket. Everybody wants to know. We'll keep talking about it. It's Chris Brown Bear asks, what's your outlook on this dip with rocket?
Well, as if I didn't make that evident enough, I would say that is a buy. But yeah, I mean, look, it's just moving with the rest of the market. So, it's not immune to all the other movements that it's making, but nothing's changed as far as real estate's concerned. And I think that it's just going to continue to roll here. There's going to come a time, right, where real estate's going to kind of hit a bubble. And, right now it's a little bit more difficult if you're either if you don't have a stable job because of all the unemployment, which probably affected Rocket today. And so, but residential real estate is still just popping off, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. And I'm really curious to see what these earnings look like next time around. So it's going to be a hold for me and buy on the dips and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Retirement asked about my hats. You know what? I totally forgot to bring a hat. So sorry I didn't have that patented thing. I think it was Dave Loritz asked, so I take it BAC is a buy, Bank of America. I don't know if we implied that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, Bank of America, these are decent levels, but I think it's going to take a little bit of a longer time for this thing to recover, where I feel like there's, we said the Morgan Stanley's, Goldman Sachs. I feel like they're better opportunities.
Yeah, I think that we'll probably start. Bank of America actually made a really strong comeback pretty much all day after coming all the way down to 23.34. I think there's probably going to be some sort of rollover on this, and it may end up selling off and coming back down. We'll see. I think that I really would like it around $23. I mean, it got pretty damn close to that, but the closer it gets to $23 flat, it's kind of really where I would like to get it at. Don't know if I'd be buying it today.
Vinay asks, will Friday be a sell-off? Should we take some profits off the table?
Friday's typically sell-off day, so it might happen. I don't plan on selling anything today, but there's always kind of that unwritten rule that there's usually sell-offs on Fridays.
Ema said this got weird real quick. I think that was a cheesecloth condom part.
It sure was. Sure was.
Jorge, what up, Jorge? Workhorse is killing me. I'm holding on for that contract. I've done my due diligence, and I really believe they got a major portion, but these losses are tough to swallow. I just want to say something about Workhorse, and we talked about this in relation to TikTok deal.
Yeah.
I don't know how confident I am in this deal going through. What is it, like 1 of 3? But if we look back at Trump, like I was saying, and this is not any indictment on Trump or whatever, but like he's kind of like a squirrel, like whatever he's focused on, like that Workhorse contract was a thing. Like Kodak, remember Kodak,
Yep.
Then Workhorse contract, then it was TikTok. Who's heard anything about him saying the TikTok deal?
Yeah,
right?
we haven't
Like,
heard anything
I
for a
haven't
while.
heard anything about Workhorse. He's not pushing it. It only goes through if you push. So I'm not saying it can't happen, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen. It's kind of fallen off the map for him, as far as I know.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't seem like it's high on the priority list right now, especially when it comes from the government standpoint. So, um, you know, and we talked about this. We said that this is basically the one and only catalyst that it had, um, influencing the price action of the stock. And so, if this is the only thing it has going for it, and there's a delay like we saw, or the deal doesn't go through at all, then that's it for the company, at least for the short term. I mean, who knows what'll happen later on down the road, but before the USPS thing was thought about, or before EVs really kind of started to come out of the woodwork, Workhorse was a trash stock. They got nothing other than a deal with UPS now, but that's it. And so that is a really concerning thing as far as Workhorse is concerned. That's really all they have, you know, weighing on them. And so if they had other things, you know, as far as other sources of revenue coming in, and this was just kind of like icing on the cake, I'd feel a lot better about it. But really, this is all that's it with Workhorse, and so that's the really concerning thing.
Okay. So the next question from Jana Lou is asking about is Square a buy? So Square is sitting down around 186, so it's just under 1%. It looks like it's trying to move up. So down about 0.6%. PayPal's around there as well. PayPal looks like it's holding up above 200 nicely, but is Square a buy?
I think Square's a buy if it comes back down around 182. It was down there this morning, and it looks like it's actually proving to be a nice hold up above that level. So if it comes down to 182, we start seeing buying again down there. I think that's probably where I'd grab it at, and I actually like PayPal anything under $200.
Okay. All right. So you're starting to come on over, huh?
I like both of them. I just, you know, they're both coming around to the same price now at this point.
By the way, my thesis on PayPal and Square and sort of the inverted, like I put it on the stock list, it worked this week.
Yeah.
So far the hypothesis has still rung true.
You could, at this point, you could almost make a living trading Square and PayPal alone.
Exactly.
Wow.
Based on the movement. And Penn and DraftKings kind of do a similar thing too.
Yep.
If you see it. EMA. Oh, no, sorry. That wasn't a question. Ryan Lee, when would be a good time to sell Snapchat?
To sell Snapchat?
Yeah, and Ty Bowie also asks, is Snap a good buy now? So yeah. So when would a good time to sell Snapchat, and is Snap a good buy?
Yeah, so I like Snap a lot. It's had a monster of a day. I probably would consider scaling some out today if you made a pretty penny. And maybe look for it to come back down, I would say, to perhaps the $27 flat area, see if it has a healthy pullback. I wouldn't chase it all the way up here, though. We always talk about not chasing boners, right? So not sure I'd be all about that today.
Yeah, it really depends on what your goals are. But I will say, so Snap's earnings are on the 20th. I would hang on, personally, I would hang on to the 20th. So the thing with all the social media companies is digital advertising. All the reports are saying that companies are spending again, money's flowing back into the digital advertising.
Yep.
Snapchat got a huge hit before their last earnings. They're moving back up. I think they benefit off the iPhone. They're working with the iPhone augmented reality. I think there's a lot of good things with it. So never hurts to take money. I'm never going to stop you from taking money. But if this is something that you've been swinging, I'd consider holding on a little bit until earnings and sell right before earnings on the 20th.
Yeah, and that's a fair point too. I mean, they were brought up in the Apple event specifically, and the one thing that I will add though is that it is evident that ad revenue is going through the roof, because it is almost annoying the amount of ads that are on Snap. Actually, it's not even almost annoying. It actually is annoying the amount of ads that are on Snapchat. So, Yeah, I mean, there's definitely cases that you can make for holding on to some, but I definitely would do some trimming if I were you, especially if you've been down since we called it out in the beginning of September. That was a top stock to watch for September, and it has done nothing but go up since then. So, if you were in all the way back then, definitely would consider maybe trimming some, holding some on, just to kind of see what it does. We got Wasabi Sabi.
Oh, I like this. This one's good.
Said, sold half my fasted position thanks to that legendary tweet. Yeah, that's right. Thank you again. Got to show some love. Appreciate that, man. So, yeah, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, @OwnTheChaos, I put this, I actually tweeted it out. I literally said, Fastly is a sell. This is insane. End of tweet. And sure enough, it was some perfect timing. So,
the prophet speaks.
Glad you're able to lock some in there, my man.
Aaron Chen said Neo is actually very popular in China. His uncle has one himself. He said the quality is there. People do prefer Tesla more since it's 2 times the price of a Neo vehicle.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's just like, you're paying for the brand almost kind of thing.
Yeah.
They love their Gucci bags and shit like that too. So,
Michael McGovern said, gotcha. So whole count Zoom if it goes below 500.
Yeah. Throw it all in there.
I still scale in. I say I'm all in, but I still will scale in.
There's position sizes
back in the days when I had Zoom at 200 and sold at 210, feeling proud.
Listen, man, I've been there.
Ryan, I think I answered your question about plan for Zoom. We got a new member, BooTube. BUTube.
Hey, welcome, BooTube.
Microsoft does not own Zoom.
No.
Okay, what do we got? Ruchi Betty, you think should Tesla continue to run up into earnings?
Yes, I think so. I think today is definitely a good opportunity to scoop up some Tesla. Right now, it is actually below its 450 support, looking to try to retest that 435. So far, it's actually held pretty well up above 440. So it may start to develop a new support here right around that area. But if it gets to 435, that's kind of the only instance in which I could see myself adding to it.
Okay, and then earnings are the 21st.
Yes.
So that's what, Wednesday? Next Wednesday.
Yep. It's going to be a big week.
Oh, man, we might have to go live for that.
Oh, we are for sure going live for that.
All right. Like it. You got to like this video if we go live. We need 285 likes. Okay. Vinay KO, that's Coca-Cola. Coke was on the watch list, jumping between $49 and $50. What are good entry points?
Yeah, so I actually talked about Coke this morning in we had this on the watch list yesterday in the Chaos Crew, rather. I like Coke. If it comes back down to around $47, I don't think we see it, but that's kind of really where I like that. If it somehow ends up breaking up over $50, that seems to be the next area of resistance for it. So, obviously Coke doesn't really kind of swing as violently as, something like Zoom does. So if by some chance it comes down to 47, definitely would be a buy for me, but a case could be made that if it breaks over 50, it should continue here.
Bro, I think you were talking about Coke this morning, and I'll be honest, all I was thinking about was cocaine every time you were talking about it. And I don't do drugs, but I think instead of like when you're talking about price points and targets, instead of saying per share, I think you should say per kilo. If you want to get some Coke, I want you to get it at about $50 a kilo. Yeah. And that's all I was thinking about. So I don't know what that means, but cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Especially when I say that I like Coke a lot. I just say I like Coke an awful lot.
That's what you were saying. You were like, I really like Coke. That's why I was laughing. I really like Coke. I like Coke here. I really like it. And you couldn't stop saying that.
It reminded me of this.
I like China.
Oh, man. And we keep saying this. We need to add some stuff to that roadcast.
Yeah, I know. Some more sound bites for sure. I actually got some fans sending over some boner candle sound bites. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, gonna be fun.
Melissa H says, you guys think Facebook is a decent buy for earnings now? How high do you see Facebook going? Will it hit 300?
Yes, Facebook is a buy for sure here. It's sitting at 265 as we are speaking. I like it if it comes back down to the 250s. I originally bought this at 258 last week. Made a really decent profit off of this. Didn't sell it all the way at the top, but sold it in the 270s, and now it has come back down on a lot of scrutiny. And one of the biggest ones today, I don't know if you guys saw the word about this controversy about Joe Biden and Ukraine, but a lot of people aren't happy about the fact that they were sharing articles from the New York Times, and Facebook and Twitter were actually removing them. It didn't matter who it was. And so there are a lot of pissed off people about that. And that is why the stock is actually down significantly today. Maybe it comes back down. We talked about this too, Christian. We talked about how Facebook is in a huge spotlight, especially when it comes to how it's influencing the election and how people feel about it. And we warn folks about, how volatile this could get. I think they still crush earnings. So I would say, yes, it's probably worth holding on to some Facebook through those earnings. And not a lot, obviously, no more than you can afford the risk, because we all know what earnings can do. But, I think that they do crush earnings, and I think that it may end up actually giving the stock a bit of a boost. But buying it down here makes a lot of sense.
Melissa H said she's tired of, and we love Facebook.
Yeah.
But she said she's sick of being a red bear. Been this for at least 3 months. You should be the next level anytime soon. So when you're in the chaos crew, we make these little emojis. So the longer you're with us, so if you're a brown bear, you've only been here for a month or less.
Yep.
You get them up. So there's 3 bulls and then there's 3 bears. So after, 6 months, we start seeing bears. All right. So Dave Lawrence, gun stocks before the election. Would you take SWBI or RGR?
If I had my choice between the two, it would be SWBI, hands down. I actually talked about this in our daily mentorship. I said $16. If it broke over $16, it would probably make a hell of a move. Sure enough, it's up 16.63 as we speak, up about 1.5% or so. Well, just over 1%. But yeah, looks good. I like Smith & Wesson.
James McCrea asked, best stock under $20. We got to do a freaking.
I know. I keep telling you, I wanted to talk about it this week. Best stock under $20. Shit. I had my answer. And now I forget. I don't know.
Under $20.
Do you remember what it was?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. JetBlue. I think JetBlue is going to be a good one under $20. And, obviously there's a lot riding on this, but I've been in and out of JetBlue several times. It's actually created some pretty nice patterns on it. But JetBlue, I think, of the airliners, we talked about how we like Southwest and Delta. But of the smaller ones, JetBlue is definitely in that category. And I think that if they can get bailed out somehow, JetBlue is going to go absolutely insane. Also under $20 is Spirit Airlines, which I like as well.
Would you, and that's SPR is the ticker. Would you take?
No, it's not. It's Save. Spirit Airlines, not your Spirit.
Sorry, Save, SAVE.
Yes.
Not Spirit Aerosystems.
No.
Would you'd take JetBlue over Under Armour?
Oh, that's a really great question. No, I think that they're probably one and the same as far as order of priority is concerned. I mean, they're both recovery type stocks. I think Under Armour actually probably could make a stronger move than JetBlue, but JetBlue is obviously riding on stimulus and everything coming back. Under Armour's kind of riding on that same thing, but they probably have a little bit of an easier time than the airliners as a whole would. Retail would, as far as that's concerned.
I said this before, and I'm going to still cheat. I'm going to take MGM. It's like $20.90. I'll take an MGM.
Fat Man Zoom has to.
Yeah, it's my job. Noberto Medina. Hola, how do you feel about AT&T with the new iPhone stuff? I really want to do, I'm going to do this as a topic and maybe a video.
Yeah.
I want to do stocks that benefited off of the iPhone, right? Like everybody talks about Apple stock, but like who are the sleeper stocks? I'm not giving it away, but I have 3 stocks that are better buy. I don't want to say better buys, that are buys off of the iPhone launch.
Yeah. I'm to be honest with you, AT&T wasn't mentioned in the Apple event as far as 5G is concerned. Verizon was, and Verizon has taken quite a dump since then. So I think this is probably a good opportunity to potentially look at Verizon over AT&T. And really, AT&T is just something that I would consider looking at for a dividend purposes and not necessarily anything else. And Verizon kind of falls into that category as well. But if I were to pick one that actually would benefit the most from Apple and its partnerships with 5G, it's going to be Verizon.
Yeah, I would agree. There's major upside. Exactly. The dividend. That's it. If that's what you're just going to set it, forget it. Sure. But Verizon's just a better company. But in addition to that, they are promoting the hell out of it. And incentive wise, like they're doing a great job of promoting it. I think when they come out with their numbers, Verizon specifically, I think they're going to blow it out of the water. And so they stand to benefit from this. So I would, I mean, either one, but like, yeah, Verizon's probably the one. Latifah, we talked about Fastly. I would go back and watch it, but we wouldn't say it's a buy necessarily now. I'd still wait. You got to wait for confirmation, but I personally don't think it's a buy now. I think it'll probably go down further.
By the way, shout out to Daniel Lee for the donate. Thanks, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel.
Deepak asks thoughts on Palantir and Pinterest.
What is old Palantir doing these days?
Just do Palantir. Our thoughts on Pinterest are similar to Snap. We like it. Ad revenue, all that's good stuff.
Oh yeah. Palantir is still a value here, I think, and we've been talking about this being a value at $9, and it's now giving you a second chance to come down to $9 a share today, and is now all the way back up to $9.60. So, yeah. I mean, I think that the days of being under $10 here for Palantir are numbered.
Amar, what's up? Amar, I feel like, I don't know if you're saying hi or not, but are you running on Puerto Rican time, bro? I feel like you show up at the end of these, or are you just working? But guys, I'm still holding Chegg. What are your thoughts? Hold or sell?
Chegg is interesting because I think that we are getting closer and closer to getting a vaccine. And, you know, I'm not talking about, you know, the days where we hear some, some sort of bad thing about it. You know, I'm talking about it as a whole. The advancements that it's made over the last 6 months have been pretty significant. And I don't know if Chegg's actually going to benefit from this, because Chegg's going to benefit from people actually doing schoolwork from home. The closer we get to a vaccine, the closer we get to opening the country back up, the less in demand I think Chegg will be. So it has gone up a ton. And I mean, it's gone up from $62 a share, up 35% since then in about, I don't know, a month or so. And it seems to me that this is just a little bit too high. If you're in it, if you've made some money on it and you haven't sold anything, I would consider probably shaving some off here, trimming up your position, and just being aware that that could end up happening if we do get some positive vaccine news as far as the Rona is concerned.
Don't look now. Zoom is moving down. It's down. Moving down. It's still up, but it's.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've already locked in a ton of profit on this thing. So I mean, I was actually considering putting a stop for the rest of my position down here at 525. Holy shit, Ovi, bro. God damn, man. Thanks for that donate, man. Oh my God, $99.99. So $100 Ovi is donating to the channel. Thanks, bro. Really appreciate the support, my man, as well as Latifah for the $5 too. That's amazing, boy. Bro. that is a double woo.
Man, we going shopping.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we are actually, we're pretty confident we have narrowed down our location for a new studio. So you can bet that this money is going towards that, my man. So thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Sony asked, did anyone buy Amazon? I actually did buy Amazon before we came on. I was already in it for a starter position. I added to it. My average cost is $32.24. But
yeah, Amazon's a buy. If it comes down below, I said 3,100, I think was going to be the next area for support. If it comes down 3,100, I actually may consider getting into Amazon as well. They have earnings coming up. They're going to crush them. There's no question about that. I think they'll do really well.
All right, we got one more question. hold on. What do we got? Thought we had one more. Oh, who said, I don't know CRUS, but I'll look that up. CGC was a stock under $20. Listen, CGC, that's a cannabis company, right?
Oh God. Yeah.
Listen, we're big ballers here. We don't do that light stuff. We do that Coke. Don't come with that Canopy growth company. Come on, buy that shit. Coke.
That's we're not about the gateway drug right now. We're in it deep.
Good.
All right.
Freddie, come up. I know you're listening. Come up.
What else we got?
Bro, just comment on Tesla. This is the last one, and I want to get my man up here to send us off. He even said, I love Coke. B. Smith 2020.
That's right.
All right, last question. Newgirl T, can you comment on right here, bro? Can you comment on Tesla, please?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want from us? We love it.
We just talked about Tesla being. I'm gonna actually wait to see if it comes down to 435 before I consider adding to it. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I would consider this a buy for sure.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're all done. Yeah, into the mic. So people always hear us go, bye, at the end. That's actually an ode to a friend of ours, FSLY, who's a comedian. You guys will hear more about him, but I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. But that's all we got for today. He's going to send us off, but why don't you close it out, Brad?
Yep, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Again, if you want to join the Chaos Crew, make sure you're hitting the join button next to subscribe, or there is the link in the description as well. And our buddy Freddie FSLY is going to send us off.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys.
All right, see you guys. Live Q&A tomorrow.